Daniel Walton, good morning to you. So how would this work in practice?
Well, good morning, Michael. What we've seen obviously played over the last couple of years, and as your previous presenter mentioned, there is a shortfall in some of the key skills we've got around the country. We've seen shortages apply and put pressure on our economy, pressure on a lot of businesses, and pressure on people to get the things done that they need to get done. What's been continually happening is each and every time we see these gaps is that business has been saying, let's just open the borders and bring over as many migrant workers as we possibly can, without actually addressing the big gaps in our skills market. What we've been saying is, let's recognise that there will be a good place for migration into the future, but let's just make sure that for each and every worker that we're going to bring over into Australia to fill those critical roles, that we're preparing young Australians in particular, but also retraining existing Australians to be able to fill those skills gaps into the future.
It's often easier said than done. How do you see as being the best way of skilling up to a greater extent the Australian workforce?
Well, what we see at the moment is a range of different visa classes. I think there's just under 100 visa classes right across the economy. And we know that there are many people who are looking to come over to Australia, and we know that there are some proper gaps in the skills market. What we want to do in the jobs market, I should say, what we want to do is identify exactly where they are. So make sure we've got proper labour market testing in place and go through a process where business can say, we want to bring in more migrant workers to fill these gaps. And what we're saying on the other side is, that's fine, but how do we make sure that we are developing young Australians to be able to fill those roles into the future? So to be a one-to-one basis, that those workers would come overseas to fill that gap, hopefully on a more permanent basis, as opposed to the temporary short-term exploited migration that we've seen so much of in recent years. But we're also providing good pathways for young Australians. We think that's going to provide a good offset, a good trade-off for business who are desperately looking just to continue this approach, which is we'll just get migrant workers over at any point we want to fill these gaps. And when we don't need them anymore, we'll send them away. That's led to these problems that we've got now, and we think it's the right time to address these problems going forward.
Under your plan, Daniel Walton, why should migrant workers be forced to join a union?
Well, we're not saying they should be forced to join a union. We're saying it should be a default. They should have access to a trade union. And the reason why that is, Michael, is we've seen time and time again that trade unions provide the best vehicle to help advise people on their industrial relations and provide them support at work. What we've also seen is the vast majority of exploitation that's taken place in this country has been the pointy end for workers that are over here as migrant workers. And so what we say is we should give those workers an opportunity to have automatic default union membership when they come in. They can opt out if they so choose. That's entirely fine. But the unions would be there to help assist them when they come into a country where they don't understand the industrial relations laws, where unfortunately we see time and time again unscrupulous employers trying to take advantage of workers with little or no English skills. We want to be there to try and help support them so that this works well, that business has access to workers, that those workers are not exploited, that they can come here, make a great contribution to the country, hopefully stay here for a long term, make a decent living and call Australia home.
Daniel Walton, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.